Welcome back, everyone, to the final series of the day, the grand finals of Primetime Tuesdays number 2. And we have Trio Abusers versus Core Overflow, a best of 3, no advantage, number 1 versus number 2 seed on the sides here. I'll have to fix the names in post as we get into the match as quickly as we can. But it is going to be Demon Days for this one. And I think this is the first time during this stream that we've actually seen this map that is going to be coming up this time. And it's one of the new maps that came from the music event recently. So questions on who exactly is going to be picked, but X makes sense to go for the bans there because the barriers a lot closer than they are on the other maps.
Yeah, they are. They're closer. They're big as well. It's really easy for that puck to kind of get stuck behind. So I always kind of like the idea of having as much zone priority as possible when you're kind of goalkeeping here. But at that same token, I mean, Metaverse has been on the Rasmus train, it feels like, all day long. I don't see him getting off it. And, you know, you do have a bit of that mobility to be able to cover both sides. So I actually expect to see more of those projectile goalkeeps that we've been seeing all day.
There we go. We got the names up there, too. And those projectile goalkeeps, I mean, it makes sense. But Vice might be the goalie that they're going for this time instead. And Vice, one of those new characters that are, I would say, a solid goalie. They have that secondary that they can use to teleport, but also stun people from wherever they want on this specific arena. They also have their primary that does some great damage, that chains with the chain lightning, and then they have their hold special and do well to try and blow things away from your side. So that's going to be interesting to see exactly how Vice performs. We saw it on Liari earlier on, but wasn't a goalie, it was a forward that time. And Zentaro also for Bells this go around, where usually they play as the Juliets. The bands definitely had something to do with this.
Yeah, I definitely feel like the bands definitely were coming into play. Apologies for those who caught my phone. I also kind of wonder, too, because this is like is this the second Vice we've seen this afternoon? And it's coming from Gumi, who, from what I understand, based on what you guys were saying before, can be a little bit of a troll out there. So I doubt this is a complete troll pick, but I wonder if it is sort of almost a little bit of that cheeky kind of BM play, like the type of character that you kind of play to really mess with your opponents a bit more so than a traditional goalkeeper.
It is definitely one that you use to mess with your opponents, and especially because you can place those secondary as best as you can, but the special comes out from Bells to slow down the core just enough to get the final touch, and Gumi, I guess, stole that one somehow with their primary to get that goal for their team, but it was mainly Zentaro and Bells slowing it down enough for it to just go into the net and net them out a goal instead, but either way, a goal is a goal at this point in time.
Oh, you can already see that mobility in effect. Gumi finding the barrier right quick to follow up for that goal. And we've only just started. I've said like maybe 3 sentences. Trio Abusers already up 2-0. What? This is supposed to be a close grand final. This is Trio Abusers with a sub. They have a sub. They shouldn't be winning this hard this fast.
They have a sub, but they also have a really good goalie for their side. Gumi is a lot more aggressive than you would see from YouAlreadyLose, who is already asleep, it feels like, which is why they had to go for a sub. Again, makes sense. It is late into the evening. It is 12 a.m. Eastern time, and that is, I believe, the time zone that YouAlreadyLose is on. So, I mean, makes sense. Got to get that sleep. But nice touches from Bells, going for the dash and trying to get the primary to get that final goal barrier down again. Stun onto Megaverse. Can't even stay alive long enough. The goal's just going through. 3-0 real quick onto this one.
Yeah, that was fast, and I'm kind of scared when you say Gumi is like more aggressive than YouAlreadyLose, because YouAlreadyLose was already one of the most aggressive Dubu goalkeeps that we've seen.
And we have heavy impact, too.
Yeah, I mean, that was a bit hardcore. Of course, give them heavy impact. Yeah, so actually, it looks like they're going to be going with Stinger instead. So, I mean, hey, more damage to follow up, set up the heavy impact for the rest of the forwards.
More than anything else, though, because you don't want to give that Stinger to Drakar. It makes a lot of sense for Vice to take that instead. And then heavy impact going on over to the Zentaro and the other Drakar so that they can have some extra damage for their abilities. We also see Timeless Creator so that the pillars for Rune get that extra size and duration. And that's going to be a bit more of a nuisance for the anomalies that you'll see pop off left and right for the other side. And Gumi's just going so aggro this time.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I love this aggression right now from Trio Abusers, and the fact they're already getting KOs. Bell's able to find a quick one right there into Overflow, unable to get it past the 2 defenders as they do hold on. Good use of the stealth, though, does get it behind the goal, so 1 tick of the barrier gone, but Bell's already in Megaverse's face, and they're just scoring at ease. It's too easy for them.
This is just the way that Bells performs on forward. I mean, we saw it in that upper winners final And Bells, without Juliet, is just unleashed to play any other aggro bruiser character. Zentaro, I believe, also, not in this most recent patch, but before, got a little bit of a buff that we saw in last week's micro patch. So feeling a bit more confident on that Zentaro since those changes. And I mean, this is the map to do it because some of those dashes, some of that primary ability fire, even with the banish just to try and deny them and do some extra stagger on them, isn't going to do too much so far. And there goes the goal already.
That's just been the reoccurring theme, it feels like, for this entire match right now. Like, Core Overflow just have not had an answer for this Zentaro Vice combo that's been in their face the entire time, and Vaughn with the lock and load has been doing such a good job in applying, you know, pressure with the puck in and of itself, while the rest have been just harassing nonstop. This is a very fast series, and I kind of wonder now, because I don't know how familiar you are with Demon Days in terms of a competitive environment. I have to admit, still super fresh.
It came out last week, right before Primetime.
Yes. So is this going to be like, you know, the super... Is this going to be the fast map? Is this going to be the map that ends real quickly? I feel that's the case.
You definitely have to play a lot more aggro as a goalie. You can't really stay on your side too much. Even with Elo Heaven trying to deny any access to their net, Vaughn's just going to shotgun blast 1-2, put it through there. And we didn't even see the Opening Awakenings chrono boost for a lot of the field, but also Spark of Resilience that is available there. And we've already seen 3 goals go through so quickly from these players. And hey, Primetime is available. You see it being hovered, and it makes sense that it is going to be picked up there by Vaughn.
Primetime Drakars have been, I think, the reoccurring theme the entire day as well, since we've started getting into the best of 3. So why not keep it going as well? I do like the extra special, though, going back onto Megaverse, though, on that rune. I think you're going to be needing a lot more of that moving forward. So anything to kind of just ebb the flow that has been the oncoming goal after goal after goal. A lot of pressure on Core Overflow is ready. We just started, and they're already down 2-0.
Ooh, but so does the Core go down already. Gumi also wasting their special, so not too much they can do. But speaking of that special, you mentioned it at the beginning with the extra special. Every time a goal is scored and things are reset, they get their special ability back, their ultimate that they can use. So they have a free banish at the beginning of every single reset, every single kickoff for these teams, which is going to be crucial for them. You already see it working out to fruition. They have their goal barriers available. Not much to worry about so far. And even with the spams that are coming out from Gumi on the emotes, they are also using eject button for Vice. I mean, that feels like the meta, so that you can just teleport in wherever you want, get back to your side, be super aggro, and Megaverse is now taunting the other half.
Oh, that was so cheeky. Great use of the banish, though, just luring in as many of the trio abusers as possible. It didn't really work out getting them the goal, and Gumi is still going to be able to hold on. That was a quick use of the special, so a bit unfortunate there. They're going to be without it from their goalkeeper for now. However, again, this aggressive playstyle doing them a lot of favors. Into Overflow is staggered pretty much out. Banish, though, on the Bells will lead to the map being flipped. Elo Heaven holding the bot side if they can get the pass up. Not quite in time, or it is! Into Overflow, great use of stealth. And they get their first goal.
We saw something like this happen similarly in the last specific series where it was Core Overflow getting the first 6 goals and then Joker on Surplus Esports getting that next one. Now it's the other way where trio abusers are getting 6 goals in the first 2 sets, and then we see the first one coming out for the other side. But so do the 2 barriers quickly go down, and it seems like maybe that was a bit of an anomaly. As you could say, Rune is on the other side of the field, and there goes a goal already through. Elo Heaven saw it in the heavens and just was able to execute on it.
I'm going to say it. These barriers suck. These are the worst barriers in the game.
They
don't
close
do their
to the
job.
center because that makes it so much faster, and you have to play so much more aggro and spread out as a team. It's rough as a goalie on Demon Deus.
It is rough, and it is super difficult, which is why, again, why I like the Vice and the rune picks for these ones. Getting the projectiles, getting, I guess, some of the teleport abilities out there as well to be able to bounce around and just try and hold it as best you can. But as we've seen time and time again, it's so impossible to do when you have multiple Drekars in your face. And what Bells is doing to the back line right now, double KO, open-looking net. Vaughn taking his time just to ensure that goal, and trio abusers, they're right back in it.
Vaughn just baiting all the cooldowns out too, which is smart because the cooldowns don't reset as you go for the next kickoff. So those cooldowns wasted. They have even more abilities that they can look forward to using against them. And again, the barrier going down, even with the anomaly trying to deny access to that upper half, did not work for a second.
so difficult, especially when that puck gets behind. Big KO, though. Power play advantage to the trio abusers. They've still got to get through that barricade. And Elo Heaven, we've seen on this Asher before, that dividing wall is so dangerous. Whoa!
Nice.
Almost the Vice Bronze special right there.
Oh, man. Definitely seen that happen a couple of times in solo queue. Not in bronze, but in gold, actually, because I'm usually the one who's done it. Megaverse, though, baiting everyone out and slowing things down, waiting for that shotgun blast from Vaughn. And Vaughn's like, okay, I'm going to bite. Doesn't matter. I mean, Vaughn has the prime time, but doesn't have the time to stop things here. And we do see a comeback of epic proportions, and it was led by Elo Heaven all the way.
Yeah, good job by that Asher out in the front. Into Overflow got the KO, so they get the in-game MVP. But I'm with you on that. That Asher, so oppressive when they were able to get into that front line. But I also have to go back to that extra special again, being taken by the Rune and Megaverse. Those use of the Banish was super strong, especially when they're able to bait, lure in the abilities, lure in the positioning. It was super... This is the game with more fakes, I think, than we've seen so far all along. We're turning this into chess in the most aggressive map, which is what you'd expect from a grand final, but makes it difficult for a new guy to come in and try to figure out what they're doing. Either way, bulking up for that first pick right now over on Into Overflow, so expect more KOs from the core Overflow side.
Vaughn has Primetime and Twin Drive. They have all their abilities that they can use. They're going to be doing so much damage to the other side with their shotgun blast, and also being able to go invisible a couple times, but will that be enough? Because we see the aggro on the other side is mounting as well. In Overflow with that size, looking huge and large and in charge for their side with the suit, with the gun, and with the foresight to try and shotgun blast their way to victory. Doesn't matter how busted Drakkar might be as long as they're able to get the victory.
I mean, they need to get this point because they did such a good job in banishing that supernova right at the start. You would think, sort of with the ability advantage at the end of that, they would get one, but Trio Abusers doing a fantastic job holding down Gumi. Doing great with that defensive effort, and now Bells has a chance to apply the pressure, but no, they get blasted out instead. A bit unfortunate, and now power play against them, open goal. You'd feel like it's a matter of time, yet somehow, some way, they hold on. Good dodge of the Banish. Megaverse has to go back. The respawn's there, but so is the goal.
That is the problem when you're playing Vice. Vice is not the fastest character. If you have no cooldowns, you don't have that primary, you can't hit it up into those corners, and it's just going to be a goal, especially since there isn't really much speed on the side of Vice. They went for stagger more than anything else. So speed is your ally on Demodeus, I believe, as a goalie, if you can't place those pillars or place that secondary for Gumi on the defensive end, and they're just kind of leaving the Awakenings to their friends that they are subbing in for here. It might not have the synergy that we're used to seeing for Trio Abusers, of course, if YouAlreadyLose, but, I mean, they might already lose this goal in just a sec with the way the momentum's going.
Oh, they got to get it out of the box, and it looks like they're just barely able to force it out for now. Bell's doing so much work trying to create the space, but those barriers being created
so
even from
speed.
the grave. They're getting there. They fought through. It's inch by inch, I feel like, right now, Vodible, but they're getting closer and closer. Unfortunately,
no
they're going to let it sneak through after all that hard work. Core Overflow find their second.
Oh, and speaking of Overflow, Overflow gets their second goal there as well with the way that they are performing. They are just timing the shotgun blast perfectly, baiting out Gumi, who likes to play more aggro, so as soon as their cooldown is gone, there's no chance for them to get that final save, no matter how slow it's going. But we see all the anomalies in the world, all the stuns in the world in that upper corner, and now there's no chance for two Drakkars to be in the world that is on Demodeus. It's just Vaughn, Gumi, and Bells is going fast and furious as best as they can to try and sneak this by that anomaly that was perfectly placed.
That anomaly was so much better than the first one that we saw with the Banish, which unfortunately left the puck no choice but to hit the barrier. KOs, though, coming through again. Bells just on an absolute spree. Barrier shuts down half of the goal, though, and will allow Into Overflow to pressure on that other side. The anomalies from Megaverse, they're on point. So too is flipping the puck back to the other side. Down goes the barrier. Inflow is already there, but doesn't quite time the lock and load to get the goal.
Oh, this is a great combo. Anomaly after the Banish just to do some extra stagger, and you can potentially save your teammate if you step onto that anomaly and take it instead. But Bells, that was just a solo masterclass from them, just weaving, bobbing in and out away from Megaverse, and the speed too fast to get that through and stop that for Megaverse, who's been able to make some stellar stops, but they haven't had to do it against one of the best forwards in North America.
Yeah, I mean, it really feels like the only way to get it past Megaverse is to go for one of those last late touches, get that last fake across, and with how forward Bells has been playing, that's really what they've been going for, it feels like, all series long. Not working in their favor this time around, though. Pressure back on the other side. A little premature anomaly right there. Would be easy for the puck to go around. It's held in place. Bells, though, can't quite hit its mark. And now, despite being staggered, it looks like Elo Heaven wanted to stick around, gets punished for it. Into Overflow, still almost able to sneak it through.
Oof. Looking nice for the side of Core Overflow. Potentially tie up this game, force it to another set 5. We've seen a lot of those faithful set 5s. Towards the end, more just 3-0s for the most part, but there we go. Bells trying to stop that from being a possibility, able to combo their abilities. No cooldowns necessary after you get that goal to tie things up. Winner either wins this game or it makes it go to set 5.
Can we quickly talk about how Gumi set that one up, though, by teleporting forward with an open goal and then dropping a supernova, the special ability that you have to charge? Like, again, any other goalkeeper, I'd be freaking out, but Gumi obviously knows how to handle those situations. That is so risky, but it worked. It was able to flip that last point, flip that last map, so... Yeah, this is the one that counts in Core Overflow. Again, they need to win it to keep themselves in this individual game, but they're already losing members.
Oh, Elo Heaven is off the backside, and Vaughn, even with the dribble, is not exactly what you want to do in this instance when you have the barrier so large on this map of Demon Deus, and we do see that supernova from Gumi that doesn't really do anything. I guess he was just wanting to rock out with his socks out this time, but in Overflow, waiting for their time to strike with the shotgun blast. Elo Heaven pressuring with their special 2. Trying to pierce the heavens themselves, but Megaverse barely staying alive with the stagger. Needs to get something away, and Bell's chasing them down, trying to close things out, but doesn't matter when it goes to the other side. Elo Heaven forces set 5.
Ah, here we go. We thought we were going to get a quick one for a brief moment, Vodible. We thought it was going to be fast and easy, but no, Core Overflow doing their job and bringing it back. And as we take a look at these items again...
Monumentalist for Rude.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. I'm also liking the Super Surge as well, possibly for a direct car, perhaps. Although, yeah, the Stagger Swagger does make sense with how violent this match has been getting.
Speed, momentum, ferocity. That's what we like to see. Super Surge as well for Zentaro, making that so that his Lie Rush, I believe that is, his impact secondary is that much more effective and dangerous. And then, you know, Hot Shot for Rune so that he can stay hitting the core a bit harder with his anomalies.
Is it lay? Is it lie? Like, how is that one pronounced?
Let us know.
I haven't heard it. Yeah, please let us know on that one, as Supernova doesn't really work for Gumi that time around. Pressure tries to get pushed forward. Everyone has to go elusive with how many abilities are thrown, but the puck should have snuck through. Elo Heaven had the open net, but went for the pass instead. It doesn't work out. The second attempt also denied on the line. Finally, it comes off the top post and in.
That's the problem when you have a sub. You don't know exactly how to trust your teammates and communicate that. You can leave Vaughn down to that lower half, have Gumi go to the top. This Gumi was going for every individual strike, and Vaughn just trailing them, trying to do the best to keep them from getting scored on there, but it was all for naught.
As now, once again, already low stagger on the side of Trio Abusers. It's pretty much Elo Heaven and It Overflow just go straight on the attack at the start, yet in the end, it is going to pay off. They are able to take down one. Gumi still, though, is doing a good job protecting the barrier, tries to buy time, loses 1 point in it, as Into Overflow forces down the second, still on that power play. The Supernova can only buy so much time. Good stun, but an even better banish. Nearly saved the day, but no, it's Bells straight down the middle.
You said nearly an even better banish, but it actually was their undoing. The banish slowed it down, so it kept slowly hitting the barrier back and forth, and then eventually was their undoing. Bells just had to hit it forward and wait for it to go into the back of the net to tie things up.
It looked so good at first until you realize the puck's slow momentum is just going to wind up right where you don't want it. Though it's going to be a quick response. Elo Heaven with the KO, and the follow-up shot makes it 2-1.
This is great. I'm loving this Omega Strikers action. I mean, this is Demon Deus in a nutshell. It is high-flying, rocking, EDM, whatever you want to do. All of the base boost that is necessary for you to fuel your energy in these games. The Megaverse can't fuel themselves enough as it's looking to go to Game 5, Goal 5 potential in this one, and Bells making that a possibility.
Yeah, let's do it again for Team Rock right there. Trio Abusers has to be Team Rock. They have the Vice. Like, that's the rule. If they're Team Rock, Rock should win. Rock over EDM always. And now, this is the point that decides it. How many Game 5.5s have we had today? It feels like every series has at least one.
In the last 3, we have had 2. Now this makes 3.
Oh, my goodness. It's pretty crazy. And, well, 1 barrier point all right down for Trio Abusers. There goes the second. Flipped puck, though, doesn't get any point back in return. This looks good for Core Overflow. Elo Heaven straight down the middle. And that's going to be the first game going to the team in red.
Core Overflow were down without a single goal after those first 2 sets. But it did not matter. They were able to push through the brink, make it past Trio Abusers, and get that final goal to crush the hopes and dreams of an early night here for Trio Abusers as you look at the stats here. But we're going to try and quickly get into this next one. No time to look at stats with Bells. Look at that damage. 31,000. Goomy, who's the goalie, had the most damage out of anyone. It's just nuts.
Yeah, that's what you love to see. But again, Goomy was like a goalkeeper, I feel like, in name only, with the amount of time they were spending teleporting to the other end, dropping the supernovas there. Wow. Fantastic showing, though. And I mean, hey, we still could have an early night, right? Like, you could still go 2-0 that other way. So.
Core Overflow just took some time to get things going after they had 2 back-to-back best of 3s they had to play, and they went all the way to 3 games. But now we are on Atlas Lab, and it's going to come down to how things go with these awakenings. The teams are on the right sides this go around, which is nice. Octavia is just there to rock things out for those speakers and just jam a bit, as they don't usually go with Octavia on this map. So bans, X seems to be the ban that happens the most time for anyone who's facing Core Overflow today.
All right, I'm going to ask a dumb newbie question for competitive
Juliet too.
Yep. Real quick, dumb newbie question. Because I've noticed this happened last time we were on Atlas's lab. The players who has like the most stagger would intentionally walk into the black hole to get rid of it. Yes. Is that just because everyone hates dealing with it?
Yes, but it's also like not something you can control. It sometimes is used to the advantage of your opponents to bank the core to more easily hit the barriers when you don't expect it, or to get a KO if you can hit it and there's someone who has a lot less stagger that is next to it. So it kind of makes sense for some people with more stagger to go for those hits. But we have Rasmus coming out from Bells, and Bells, I've heard, feels a lot more unleashed on Rasmus before. I believe that was Mystic who was saying that. And Rune goalie coming out yet again. Drakkar, I mean, Drakkar seems to be the mainstay because of how well that they have been performing with them. Again, a little bit of a bug there with Juliet. They were banned earlier. Same with X. Juliet banned, by the way, targets Bells 100% because that is Bells' main. And then Goomy with a Kai this time on the other side. Rune. Megaverse is feeling confident with Rune, and looking at these early awakenings, Monumentalist and Castellas makes sense.
Okay, that explains the Rune. I was on Megaverse because I was kind of thinking like this would be another good map for the Rasmus goalie, which we thought we were going to be seeing. Actually, we see instead of Gloomy, it looks like is on the Kai instead. Either way, yeah, it makes sense in the end. Either way, Core Overflow's already got the barriers open. So much pressure into Overflow. Elo Heaven playing right in the face of Bells and Gloomy, but they still can't break it through.
Apparently, Elo Heaven and Overflow are brothers, according to K-Bot, if I am reading this correctly. So thank you for the lore, K-Bot, of these players. And Overflow looking solid here. And speaking of Rocket League here, Max Formula, that's very similar to Rule 1 in, what is it? Not APAC. It is Middle Eastern region there specifically. The way that they're twins that actually play there. So it's interesting to see the dynamic between brothers who are playing together and winning together, which is nice to see.
And they both play aggressive forwards as well. It's like the Bash Bros or something. We could come up with a good nickname, I feel like, for that duo. Or someone smarter than I could. Someone better, I mean. But because, I mean, in this game in particular, it looks like they are geared up to be that aggressive force. Not working in their favor early in this one, Core Overflow. Already got 1 KO, but they're not going to get that second barrier. Vaughn's going to try to set up above. Follow-up is there into Overflow, trying to put in the work defensively. Now it's all set up for Bells right there. Flips the puck, throws it forward. Megaverse gets it just at the edge.
Oof. Crazy to see how close these two teams are, but Elo Heaven and Overflow looking for what they can do here. Goomy using their Giga Blast, not the exact way, but maybe just to deny anyone who thought they could go for that core.
Zoning ult.
Zoning it for sure.
Zoning ult.
I haven't seen that happen in some time, and oh, what an anomaly into the black hole to cause some damage. But the anomaly, speaking of, was not perfectly placed because there was a wide open crack for that to go through to tie things up 1-1.
I dismiss your claim that that was wide open. I would say that was narrow open, but maybe wide for these guys. All right, like that was tight. Still found its way through. Double KO straight away though, or was it? Sorry, nope. Into Overflow, went invisible. I thought he snuck out. My bad. Still picking up, but they got a KO. That's good.
What? That's the second time Megaverse has tried to deny any access to their goal using the anomaly, and it's just not in the right spot just yet. You can tell Megaverse feels a lot more confident on that Rasmus as we saw before, but on this map, I mean, having Monumentalist being able to have an anomaly the exact size, or actually a bit bigger than those goal barriers, helps out a lot. I mean, that's why Atlas is also pretty solid on this map. I'm surprised we didn't really see that from Megaverse either, but Gumi is always a bit more confident on those more aggro goalies, those projectile-based goalies like we were seeing with the Kai here. They're just waiting for that black hole to go down, and Vaughn using the shotgun, waiting for their time. Even with the banish, doesn't matter. Bells with the pendulum as it swings through, gets that first set.
Yeah, Trio Abusers make that one actually look pretty easy after conceding the first goal there. So they're right back in this one set up. Looking to continue on. Again, Core Overflow did take the first game, so Trio Abusers have to win this one out to take us to a Game 3. And
thanks for the reminder.
Once again,
had to update the overlay.
Gumi, Kai, first pick. Actually, he's taking their time with this one. Stagger Swagger gets taken away. What?
Specialized
Gumi
training.
Really playing patient.
Yeah, I guess it kind of makes sense so that they can have extra damage for that Giga Blast, and Timeless Creator with Monumentalist for the runes so that they have size and duration, and just have everything covered by their anomalies. It's going to be hard to get some of these goal barriers down off the start.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, with the black hole available, things can get a little bit weird, perhaps. That could be a useful tool.
The whole bottom's covered.
Yeah, that is massive, and it does get the first barrier, so there you go,
almost.
but it's taken back in kind after the KO.
It's just using the anomalies to cover everything. Nobody can get access to their goal barrier if Megaverse has cooldowns.
You know, you could make a disgusting team with, like, you know, even if you want to put like the rune on a forward and then get that Atlas goalkeep, and you have like the double barrier, and then I guess throw in the Asher as well. Think about how long you could shut down one of these barriers. Like, it would be forever.
Also, Night Market too with Era, Asher, and either Atlas or Rune is just a nightmare if you have some good awakenings.
It is pretty gross. That was not the best banish though for Megaverse, unfortunately. Bells times it well and gets the first goal.
That's the only problem, or the big problem with Banish, is that once you know the timing, it is a moot point if nobody is affected by it other than the core. You just got to wait for that, and then players at this level of the game that are the top rank, Omega, as you can see, that emote being spammed by Gumi, who likes to keep that APM up. And speaking of keeping things up, well, they can't keep their goal bearer up for Megaverse, and this is a good momentum swing for the side of Trio Abusers, who, again, were supposed to get that first game, got reverse swept by the other side, and are looking to pick things back up.
Yeah, we'll see how we go, but like because of that reverse sweep in the game one, even if they go up 2 sets in this one, it's going to be in the back of everyone's mind, I feel like. As they get close to getting the goal, puck gets flipped, as does the map. Gumi able to hold it for now. So difficult to get that last check, that last barrier, I'd feel, as Bells again cuts off the play up and makes it 2-0.
I've been there before as a Rune goalie. I've been experimenting with it after seeing how deadly some goalies were here. And actually, Gumi used to play a lot of Rune goalie in the last Primetime from what we saw, and was pretty spectacular at it. But when you go for that blink on the Rune, it only goes back to where you had your previous blink originate from. So you can see that circle right in the center of that goal barrier. If you don't have it at the right spot, it's difficult to get a save afterwards.
We'll see if they're going to be able to find that right spot moving forward right now. Banish leads to a KO. So down to member Trio Abusers in a little bit of an awkward spot. Gumi, though, will flip the puck by the time, and it looks like the respawn will happen before the barrier does fall. I lost track of time. There it is. All right, Bells, I was off by a couple seconds. Still, either way, hey, points still stand. Barrier still standing.
for now. We do see the death touch from Bells, and the pendulum was swinging towards that last goal barrier, but there goes the black hole down yet again. They're just trying to keep as much space available, but a perfect anomaly from the primary for Megaverse to get that last goal barrier down. Gets the save with the core strike, gets an elusive from Bells, making it so that he's not going to be banished and staying up forward as long as he can. They just need to get this anomaly down, my goodness.
It just keeps coming again and again and again, and Megaverse is doing so well with those anomalies to hold off, although finally it gets broken and the black hole's going to make things confusing. Flip the puck, end the set. Trio abusers take it.
Wow. That was beautiful. Right off the goal barrier into the black hole, then got the core flip into the perfect sweet spot of that corner to go into the net from the core flip. Beautiful from Vaughn on that play. But we've been here before in the last game, Max. We were up 6-0, and it didn't matter because we get to see the way things go here. And technically, we're 6-1 because Overflow did get that first goal. So maybe that's exactly what the side of Trio Abusers needed. And we are seeing the way things are going. Twin drive for some extra speed for Gumi. Stacks on stacks for some extra speed, but also hits granting that as much as you can with that shotgun blast. And look at the way that some of these went. Bells gets that extra big fish stagger, and the missile propulsion is going to help a lot for Vaughn, too.
You know what scares me, though, the most, actually, is the orb producing cooldowns from Megaverse right now, so we're going to see even more of those anomalies, and they're going to last for so long already, as we see it with this one. So I actually think that Core Overflow is going to be very happy with that. Well, assuming that, they're off cooldown, because at the moment the pressure's going against them. First anomaly makes a save, but there's no second, and Bells makes it 1-0.
2 more goals to tie up the series in Game 2, make it 1-1. Go to Game 3. That means 3 best-of-3s in a row would go to Game 3. I mean, we're here all night. I guess it feels like now into the early mornings for prime time. It seems like closing time's about to be the song we play at the end of this one. But 1-0 up, 50 seconds remaining on the clock before OT, and 1 barrier already down for Trio Abusers. And so does one of their players go.
Yeah, this is a problem for the side in blue, and we'll see if Core Overflow can bring it back. Drekar only went to the bot side of the map right there. I was expecting a forward push, but it's all well and good. Everyone else on Core Overflow has pushed past that midfield line right as the black hole spawns. Pressure from Elo Heaven won't hit it. Anomaly actually kind of works against Megaverse. Down goes the second barrier. Trio Abusers with the chance, put it in.
Whew. 1 more goal away. Vaughn gets this one. This is the synergy we expect to see from these players. Gumi filling in just at the last minute again. Let me remind you, because YouAlreadyLose had it to go to sleep. Feeling a bit sick before, so hopefully they feel a bit better later on with, maybe some money in their bank account, depending on how they split things. But regardless, 1 goal away from making it an even series here to go to game number 3. Goal barrier down, both down on the side of Core Overflow.
Actually, I wonder, how do you split it? Does Gumi get a cut of the prize, win or lose, or do Trio Abusers have to win for Gumi to get paid?
That's a good question.
Yeah. That's what I would want to know.
We don't have any interviews, but what a great core flip save somehow from Megaverse, trying desperately to keep things aside. Elo Heaven trusting the process. Same for in Overflow. They're not in over their heads just yet. As the shotgun blast come out, the anomaly at the perfect placement, but it's not going to be lasting long enough, even with all those creation buffs that we saw from the Awakenings and the banishment perfectly timed. Not going to be much that they can do against that just yet, but a dangerous position.
Yeah, but good use of the anomaly, though, able to kind of clear it back out to safety. Bell still looking for those opportunities to cut forward. Nearly thought they had one right there, but again, the anomaly from Megaverse able to hold it back, and now Elo Heaven trying to do what they can on the attacking side, but Vaughn's just been able to stagger, and with that goal, we're going to a decider, Game 3, after Trio Abusers take Game 2.
3 Game 3s in a row in best-of-3s. This is why this is a 7-hour tourney, as Kiachi, says in the chat. I mean, it was 5 hours last time. I added like a couple more best-of-3s, but I didn't expect them to go this far. And MVP Bells, of course, I mean, didn't really need much damage, but got the goals when it mattered for their team. I'm going to switch to our faces real quick so that we can just queue straight up right afterwards and get into this next game so that these teams are ready to close out the night and get this final one done with as well. No best of fives here. Best of fives, Liari. No, that'd be crazy.
No, it's a bracket reset, right? When the lower bracket wins after the best of 3, so we get another best of 3 after.
There's no game advantage, no bracket reset. We'd be here till like 3 in the morning with all the game 3s that we've been having so far. But now we are on game 3, and no, the queue broke. It broke. No, for the final time. Oh, let me try it again. Let me see.
That's okay. We'll
make sure that they didn't get into that too. But Max, if you want to go over the bracket while we wait for things to get fixed here for a second, but that's unfortunate.
The bracket what we've seen today, obviously, was the double Elim trio abusers core overflow. It was core overflow that had to make that lower bracket run to get here. I believe they dropped down back in losers round 4, so they've had to win, what is that, like 6 games in the lower bracket? 5 games in the lower bracket, sorry, my math is bad, after they lost in that winners quarterfinal against Hold the Line, a team that, well, they only made it to the losers quarterfinals before they fell. Trio abusers on the other side, they beat a lot of good names in that upper bracket. Surreal Saucers, they made top 4. Bounty Hunters, Surplus Esports, all of them went down, and what's interesting is that was the first game loss we've seen from Trio Abusers so far. It's been clean sweeps for them up until this point, so
yeah,
we'll see how they're going to hold on to that moving forward.
A little bit different than last go around where they had some connection issues. Goats Esports overwhelmed them, beat them. I think it was 3-1 in a best of 1, but now we go to Night Market to end things off. We talked about the Rune and the different anomalies. We've seen Era not banned in this matchup, but we'll see if it happens this go around and how things happen for these teams. The final matchup here. Good luck, have fun for these teams as we see how things are going to go. And it makes sense that this potential ban of Asher is coming out this go-around because Asher has been very deadly. I believe it was Elo Heaven who was repping them. And Rasmus also being banned too. Those are like 2 strikers we have seen throughout the tournament make some waves so far.
I'm actually a little bit surprised to see Core Overflow ban the Rasmus, considering how strong Metaverse has been with them all throughout the day. But I imagine we're still going to see more of that Rune goal keep. It seems to be the adjustment they've made for a Juliet and a Drakkar.
I knew Juliet was coming out.
First few lock-ins. yeah, I mean, this is low the few times Juliet hasn't been banned, so of course it's going to come through. And mirror match.
I'm curious on what the awakenings are that led to this too, because that's going to decide exactly how things go down in this game. And I mean, even though we have the bug again where it shows Juliet, we actually do have Juliet this go around. So it's a mirror match, but Vaughn, one of the best Drakkars, Bells, I'd say arguably one of the best Juliets, and it's going to be Unstoppable and Deadeye. So it makes sense that we did see a little bit of a Ditto matchup here, with Deadeye being so crucial for Kai as a goalie.
Yeah, exactly. So that's actually a huge pickup. So no wonder they each went Kai. And I expect to see a very aggressive game despite this one being on Night Market. And it's interesting to me because normally and this could be, again, newbie question, but isn't Night Market like favor a lot more of sort of the zoning characters just because of how narrow a lot of the pathways are?
It does. It does. I mean, one of the best midfielders before the most recent nerf was Era, and there we see Bells hitting that to themselves. That is the 1-2 combo you can expect to see from them many times throughout this final game. They feel so confident. They are basically Juliet as a person on the field every time with the way that they have been able to perform with this character. I'm interested to see how Elo Heaven can shape up to that and meet up to those expectations.
Ooh. Well, it looked good for a moment there, but unable to get the second barrier, unfortunately, before they had to back away because of that low stagger. So didn't really go the way Core Overflow was looking for as they lose their first barrier as well. Now Bell's on the other side showing how it's done, finds the second barrier, had to flip the puck to do it. So that's going to be a tool no longer available for them. Elo Heaven still has theirs, might need to use it to crack that second barrier, but at the moment they're just trying to dodge. They had to use it to evade, and now pressure back against Core Overflow.
What a core flip from Gumi. Also made it so that he was going to be avoiding any of the damage coming out from an overflow so that he could get that shot in, a snipe from epic proportions downtown to put it through in the Night Market. And now 2-0 up, looking to continue that momentum from that last game.
Looking to just keep on riding on. They don't want to give it up like they did in the first game, that's for sure. Bell's already in the face of Megaverse. Actually decides to hold on for a moment. I believe ability cooldowns kept them from getting as aggressive as they'd like. The end result will be losing the second barrier on the Trio Abusers. And now pressure from the other side. Cross up from Elo Heaven. Gives Core Overflow their first goal.
There we go. Nice one from Elo Heaven. Showcasing their own individual skill as Juliet and basically covering the map in darkness so that they can reset. Core Strike coming out from Megaverse, and it makes sense that that is the goalie gear for them so that they have more abilities to use to clear things away. And speaking of that, a great core flip to pass over to in Overflow. Another one coming out, barely missed on the angle and actually ends up hitting their own barrier. Unfortunate.
Yeah, I think the lock and load just kind of confused Gumi a little bit. Didn't really know how to read it. It looked like it was just out of range. A bit unfortunate for the Trio Abusers defender, but at the moment, Elo Heaven still just trying to forge this forward, takes down the second barrier. A chance to equalize now available, but Megaverse has to kind of play catch with themselves. Into Overflow cuts it off, tries to slow Vaughn down. Going invisible, though, nearly sets up Elo Heaven. The kick wasn't enough. Pressure's still there. Bell's trying to rotate down. All of a sudden flips it back up to the other side, but proactive play from Megaverse keeps him going. If Elo Heaven gets KO'd, though, that might open the door back for the blue side.
Bells was just waiting for them. They wasted some of their energy on going elusive. There's no orbs that were respawning, so they couldn't stay alive long enough. It doesn't matter because Vaughn over to Bells. A 1-2 punch. They're able to put it through with just a simple passing play.
All right, last Rocket League comparison, I promise. Not really, but still. Clean passes across the box down to the middle of the pitch that leads to a straightforward goal. Doesn't matter what football-esque game it is.
Or
it always
hockey or
looks
soccer or whatever, yeah.
It always looks good.
Oh, and Aerial is also very interesting to see exactly who will pick that one up. But built different coming out for the Drakkar for, I believe that was in Overflow on the other side. Specialized training so that they can get some more Flame Fury for Bells for the side of Trio Abusers, and then Stingers coming out for both the other Juliet and the other Drakkar. So I like this. Aerial's also on the other side too, just so that they can have some extra boost going on for the side of Megaverse. But that primary barrage that's coming out from Gumi is going to help a lot on the defensive end.
Elo Heaven. I mean, sacrifices themselves to get that first barrier, fair enough, but when you're kind of jumping into three of them, yeah, you're going to get dogpiled like that. That's going to put so much pressure on Megaverse, who's been able to hold on to that pressure in the past. Not this time. Goal opens up. Bells premature by a millisecond 2 times in a row.
Oh, the goal barriers are just a bit too slow to stop from opening, or the goal gates, excuse me, and that was just a bit too much delayed for them, as maybe their maneuvers are being a bit delayed as we get into the earlier hours of the day throughout Wednesday. We're not even primetime Tuesday. We've gone overtime as we are overbilled for these players. And speaking of overtime, a little bit over 10 seconds remaining till we get to that point, as it's still 3-on-2 for a second, but not for long. Doesn't matter, though. Bells with that Fury putting it through, and we talked about the way that that extra specialized training is going to be so crucial because that's going to hit that much harder, but also heals them as well.
Yeah, and
heals,
because of how hard they're able to kind of just force that in. Yeah, they got the specialized training. We're good. They were able to save the core flip as well throughout the entire time, and well, they used it there, didn't really get that effective, but it was good in theory while they were still sitting on it. Now Megaverse is the one who has that ability. He's probably going to need to use it on that defensive side, as eventually into Overflow and Elo Heaven, they're pushing forward on such low stagger. This is dangerous. You got to be careful with the positioning. Elo Heaven punishes.
Elo Heaven punishes, but so does Bells, and Bells is just going toe-to-toe with them to try and knock them out. Getting that extra speed boost in the center, even with the core flip. Megaverse, 200 IQ play to set it up for themselves. See in Overflow going invisible, try and force some sort of issue. Keep things going momentum-wise into the Trio Abusers half, but back to the red side of the field. After the goal barrier is down, doesn't matter because the momentum's still looking pretty solid from core Overflow, but not long enough. Bells almost had that simple opening we've seen so many times from them, but it's not going to happen just yet. A great KO. Still some final signs of life if Vaughn can't get this through.
Yeah, that was it looked like a bit of retribution right there from Bells. They got poked before and just turned around and KO'd him. Either way, with the power play, it nearly results in the goal, but core Overflow was able to hold on for now. And now into Overflow on that top end. Has to be careful. Is surrounded. Goes elusive to keep themselves safe, but for how long? Vaughn actually turns their attention to the puck instead. And good choice because Elo Heaven right in the face of that second barrier does take it down. Here's the pressure. Here's the goal. Core Overflow equalize.
Oof. What an equalization, too. I mean, there were so many chances for Trio Abusers to close things out, but they didn't want to overcommit because they know how clutch Megaverse has been all day that we've been witnessing their prowess in those last 3 series, the last 3 game 3s that we've gotten to. They've won them. Let me remind you, they won the first one, won the second one. They're looking to win the third one if they can get there, but they got to win a set first and get a goal away from Vaughn and Bells. And that's the duo that you're going to expect to just bully you every single time, and we saw it in HD television there.
How do you defend that if you're Megaverse? How fast they're just passing it back and forth. You know one of them's going to take the shot eventually. It's so difficult to do. You can't be too harsh on Megaverse for missing that one either way. Especially, it's brother synergy too. Like, that extra bit of lore now just makes it so scary.
Chat saying a good quip there too. They came from the trio abusers, became the duo abusers after picking up a random on the ladder. I mean, Goopy's not really a random, but, you know, it's not exactly who they played with in the other Primetime Tuesdays. But there goes the core flip into the gold bear. Giga Blast doesn't really do anything. Bells just sets himself up. Even with the barrage, Goopy pushing up there was crucial so that you could just see the fury from Bells to close out that set.
Also, as they take the set, now 1 set away from winning everything. Yes, well, good. Isn't Goomy like the biggest abuser of the emotes as well? I feel like they fit right in. Like,
yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Primetime.
Yoki in the chat.
Let's go.
And we see Bells on Primetime. It's all coming full circle to potentially see things end here for the final set. If things go the way that they have been for Trio Abusers to go back-to-back to Primetime Tuesday victories. We'll see if it happens, but heavy impact from Kai. I mean, that doesn't really do too much other than deny any of the Drakar's access to it. And looking at the final awakenings, these could be the final ones we see. Megaverse picking up that extra special is going to be huge so that they get a Giga Blast on lock after every kickoff.
I will say this, though, with some of those orb pickups that we're seeing going around right there, core overflow could be once again in a position to reverse sweep. Obviously, that gets hindered a bit when, you know, you lose int straight away to a KO. Both barriers down. Trio Abusers, good shot from Goomy, keeps the pressure on, and I don't know how Megaverse was able to save that.
I don't know how many times we've said that about Megaverse so far these last 3 series. I mean, Megaverse has been playing out of his mind this entire time that we have seen so far. And Megaverse just stepping in as a sub, of course, for this roster. But Bells is just going to kick to victory. Flame Fury, Flying Phoenix, Fiery Fist. Doesn't matter what they need to use. They're using all of their limbs to get those goals.
And I think that's been like the big difference when like looking at Elo Heaven play compared to Bell's play. It feels like every single one of Bell's play like abilities are being used so efficiently, whereas Elo Heaven has had some great flame flurries, but it hasn't been the same with the other ones, with the primaries, with the secondaries. I don't know. It's just that next level play from Bells, and now it's next level play from Vaughn to set up Bells. Good pass opens up the barrier. Core overflow again in a tight situation.
The barrier goes down barely there, but some signs of life for a second for the other side, and the core flips both ends with a double KO for Bells. About a matter of time for him to get more KOs on the field. Megaverse can't stop this, and they're 1 goal away from claiming victory.
This is it. Match point 2-0-2-0. Core overflow. They got that reverse sweep in game 1. Is it too much of an ask for them to do it again? They got the first barrier right quick. Goomy still has that second to defend. Down it goes. Good touch from Elo Heaven. Maybe there's still some life in this red side yet.
Oh, there's only been a single goal in this game so far from Elo Heaven, but a goalie goal this time. Megaverse coming out towards the midfield, clutching it up for them to give them one final life sign for them to maybe keep them alive. A lifeline from what we have seen so far, but in Overflow, Elo Heaven, they've been drowning. It feels like on Atlas.
4 levels.
Not Atlas,
well, now
excuse
3.
me. Night Market. Yeah, 4 levels, now 3. And it's been a struggle to see the way things have been going. And speaking of levels, Bells 9, Megaverse 7, Elo Heaven 6, and same for In Overflow. They haven't been able to do much against the level gap.
That's what I was trying to say. Like when we started that, it was 9-5 between Bells and Int Overflow. But it doesn't matter if you get the stuff. Hello, Core Overflow. You're right back in this. 1 goal to reset everything. Keep yourself alive. Lose it, though, and we're done.
They just want us to go to 1 a.m. at this point with the way things are going. We're 9 minutes away from it. We need to go to another set for that to happen. And Megaverse trying to make that happen, but Bells with the punch, with the kick, with the final kick in, and Bells makes it so that trio abusers go back-to-back for Primetime Tuesday. Won the first one, got a sub for the second one in the final matchup, and they win it and claim the ultimate victory. $210. Congrats to them.
Yeah, who else but Bells as well to put it in at the end with that Juliet play. So oppressive. It's amazing how much of the pitch you can deny by just being right in your opponent's face like that. 9 KO. I want to see the damage. Let's get to that damage right there.
Not
as much as I expected, but that's just because all the damage was so evenly spread by everyone. Your goalie had as much as your Drekar.
Wow. Well, Core Overflow won the first one. Trio Abusers won the last two. Technically a reverse sweep to get that because it is a best of 3, but that is the end of our show today. Don't need to show the stats any longer. It's been a long day, to say the least. I mean, I don't know about your appointment, but it feels like it's gone and dusted with the way things have been going. 3 back-to-back game 3s is all you could really ask for from these matches so far, but that was a stellar performance from all the teams that are out there. Let's quickly recap the top 4. Trio Abusers number 1, Core Overflow number 2, so 210, 105. Then we saw Surplus Esports getting number 3, or third place for $75, and then Surreal Saucers, 4th place for $30. But some other notable finishes that we saw that we didn't quite expect. Looking at the standings here, as I have to bring these up and go to a different page to actually look at that, from some upsets that we didn't quite expect to see. I mean, the biggest upset, I guess you could say, is that Bounty Hunters, they went down a little bit early, but that's just because some bracket luck there. Core Overflow, though, I mean, they performed to their utmost capability when they weren't able to do it in the last event. This is a redemption arc, I would say, for them to get second place here.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty good. They had to make that lower bracket run, and I guess credit to Hold the Line as well, kind of being the team that sent them down there, even though after that, they didn't take a game after getting kind of wrecked by Surplus and then the Surreal Saucers. But look, for a first time kind of coming in, trying to learn the scene, I mean, there's definitely going to be some familiar names. I'm sorry. I'm a Metaverse fan for life after this. I know he did win it in the end, but that goalkeeping was amazing throughout. But Bells as well, I think maybe would be the MVP of the event.
Yeah, I could see that with the way Bells was able to perform there before. And then Gumi, of course, MVP coming in to sub in so that we could even have this match whatsoever. But also, shout out to Core Overflow, because, again, I left it up to the teams if they would agree to have these subs. We've had some issues like this in the past, and I got to give a shout out to the Omega Strikers community more than anything else. They have been so welcoming. It's been great to run these events. Again, both of us coming from Rocket League, and it's been beautiful to see the way that they've just latched on to these events, give it their all, and have a lot of fun at the end of the day, and, you know, win some money for it too. And also, shout out to Odyssey Interactive for providing half the prize pool, but also the other half of the prize pool from Dylan Surplus of Surplus Esports that he just made for, Finesse was the team before, now Surplus Esports. Shout out to Dylan there. And speaking of that, Max, Dylan, me, Beowulf, Zephyr, Squid, I think Combo as well, and Blue Blazing are all going to be at DreamHack Dallas for the Battle for Texas this weekend. It's going to be a great time. 3 days of competition. Groups on the first day on Friday. Then it goes to a double elimination bracket on Saturday, and closing out on the main stage, 3:30 p.m. Central Time for that final matchup. It's going to be a great one. You don't want to miss it, but man, any final thoughts from you, Max, before we close things out for the night?
I'm jealous. I can't be there in DreamHack. I'm half a planet away, unfortunately. Won't get there. But if you do have a chance, do go check it out, because, again, like there's a lot of games happening at the DreamHack. I have to plug the Rocket League too, right?
Yeah, I mean, CRL, I'll be watching a lot of that.
the CRL world's happening there as well, and if you can't make it, watch the B stream. Just watch that on the first day. It's only like 4 matches. Just watch the first 2. Well, they brought me in as an EU guy, and I'm not casting any EU teams.
Yeah, you're casting the B stream. I forgot about that. You aren't casting any of the EU teams. That's so funny.
Nope.
Oh, man. Well, we're going to be sending on over a raid. YouAlreadyLose, I believe, woke up to watch some of the end of that match there, but also, as we were talking about before, maybe it just didn't feel too good. So, YouAlreadyLose, if you're listening to us right now, we're going to be sending a raid on over your way for Trio Abusers. Congrats on the victory again. Also, Bells was streaming his matches, so definitely recommend checking that out. Bells IRL there, too. We're going to be closing things out for the night, but I'll probably be back next Tuesday for another one of these, even though I have DreamHack going on and I'll be getting back the day before. Look out for those signups, !Primetime for that too, so that you can join the Discord, know when those announcements are going to be going live. But start.gg/VOD, which I somehow was able to get, is where you can go to once that is live. Follow my socials, follow everything else, follow Max Formal. Thank you to all the casters who participated earlier on with this too. Thank you to all the players, and thank you all, and good night. See you on the next one, and see you at DreamHack Dallas for the Battle for Texas.